What up, everybody? How you doing? Hope things are going well for everybody. Listen, I need to get this off my chest. If you can't back into a parking spot, do not raise your fucking voice to me. Okay? End of story. Again, if you cannot back into a parking spot, lower your motherfucking voice. I'm not here for it. Like, I don't understand why backing in isn't a standard practice. Because the most you're going to have to worry about is that one stationary vehicle that could potentially be behind you while backing up. But when you pull into a parking spot and then you have to back out, people can't even turn their fucking heads properly. And then you want them to back out and make sure that there is no traffic to the left and the right of them. Now, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to look left and right before you pull out of the spot. So why not back in and know that you are comfortably going to be able to see shit? So, like, listen, this past weekend I went out and about because it was like the weather is just fucking amazing right now. Still got a little chill to it, but it's amazing. So I'm out and about, and 3 different places that I went to, people are honking and yelling because people are backing up at the same time to get out of parking spots. Listen, my one friend who always backs up, I give him the credit for giving me, you know how when you have friends, you always take some sort of, something that they do, you take. Big, small, maybe it's something that you say. Like my one friend, he always said copy. I say copy all the damn time. Then my other friend, again, like I said, he backs his car in consistently every time. So you know what I picked up from him? Backing my car in every single time. It makes life so much easier. But I'm going to get on with the show. But again, I'm going to say, if you can't back your car in, lower your motherfucking voice.
It's time to get casually uncomfortable with your host, Chuck Jerome. Viewer discretion is advised.
What up? Happy new week. We have made it to another week. Hopefully you are getting shit done. Because I know I am. I'm making it happen. No matter what. And it's only about to get better. Also, this week is my birthday week on Friday, and I will be 41. I will be in the 40s now, right? Last year, I was 40. I said, oh, shit. It's happening. Time is moving. Time is grooving. But now I am in the 40s. I am in my 40s. And I'm feeling pretty good. There are some things that I need to fucking tighten up on, and I'm going to do that this year because, like I said earlier, shit's about to get good. Shit's about to get really good. So I'm going to roll with it, and I'm going to stay positive, and I'm happy. Now, I will say, as you start getting older, birthdays don't hit like they used to. Every birthday, I wake up and I thank the good Lord that I made it to another year. I shed a few tears of joy for being able to make it another year. And then I shed some tears of sadness for the friends and family that are not here with me that I wish could see how far I have come. And then I get up and I start my day. And I don't work on my birthday. That's not my thing. I might do it this year. I don't know. I don't know how I'm feeling. But normally, I'm just doing my thing. You don't have to sing happy birthday to me. You don't have to do, have a fucking parade or anything crazy like that. It calms down when you get older. I'm not saying I don't want to do anything, but all the pomp and circumstance, I don't need that anymore. I'm just glad to have fucking made it. That's all I'm saying. And listen, my Pisces abilities get stronger each year. I can feel people's energies. And listen, the energies have changed. The energies have shifted since COVID. And I just fucking leave me alone. Because a lot more energy now is, I don't know. It's not the best. But I'm just trying to make sure that my energies are slow and steady. There's no need to be rushing around anymore. It's time to take things slow, live life fun, not too fast, and just enjoy everything around me. Because you can find happiness in every damn thing that you do. I don't care what you say. You got to find happiness with whatever you're doing. However you're doing it, hopefully you're not hurting yourself or hurting others, but you're just living life. And that's really what it's about. And again, I don't give myself a lot of credit. I really don't. But I'm going to start doing that. I am making a lot of changes this year. This is the year of, really restructuring life. I don't want to say making shit happen because I have been making shit happen, but now it's time for the restructure. And by the end of the year, I want to be in such a good place that I can help my friends and my family. I want to be able to do more things, go out more places. Maybe not every. I don't want to go all over the place right now just because the world is fucked. But it would be nice to be able to help the friends and family by saying thank you to them. However I see that fit. But that's what I want to start doing. But before I do that, I got to give myself credit. But because without being positive and true to myself, I would have buckled and just fucking crumbled. But I didn't. I stayed positive. I told myself who the fuck I am, and I stayed that path. And I've noticed as I get older, fuck everybody else. Especially what they think. Not fuck everybody in a negative way, but fuck everybody, man. Like, I gotta live my life. I gotta be me. I gotta be who the fuck I'm gonna be. That's it. That's all. There's nothing else to it. Because when it all boils down to it, I make myself happy. How am I going to make myself happy? Do I need a new job? Do I need to move? Do I need to pick up a new hobby? Whatever is going to make me happy, I need to make that shit happen. I need to make happiness happen. That's what I'm saying. Be weird, be wild, be Chuck Jerome. And that's what I'm going to do. So thank you. Because in the end, it is all going to work out. I have to tell myself that more and more as I get older. Stop worrying about what people think. Stop worrying about this, that, and the other. In the end, it is all going to work out. So I'm just going to be weird, be wild, and just be myself. So yeah, that's going to be my little inspirational talk to get things started to myself and to you. So live your life. That's what I'm saying. Now, last week, near the end of the week, I went to the MVA to take care of some stuff. And remember how I said about people backing up and just being menaces because they don't know how to back into a spot? Well, as I'm sitting in the parking lot, the MVA parking lot is one way only. You pull into the parking lot and you go through it, and then it loops you around into one singular lane to leave. I don't know how many people I saw pull out of their parking spots and go left. The only way, because it was one way, was to go right. I wish there were cops there to just give those sons of bitches tickets. Because I'm like, dude, it said one fucking way. But hey, I'm not a police officer. So, whatever. But I especially in the fucking MVA parking lot, tighten up. Also, when I was in line in the MVA, I was standing behind an old couple. And this old son of a bitch just fucking busted ass. And it was juicy. I thought he shit himself. I almost said something to him. Maybe not something to him, but maybe a sound of disgust in his direction. Ugh. Because it was a wet fart. And then the guy behind me was just losing his mind because they had put him through all this rigmarole. He was at the desk, then he was at the window, then he had to get back in the line. I watched it all happen while I was waiting. And he was like, this fucking play. He's losing his mind. Quietly. Because there's signs everywhere. If you start losing your mind, the cop will probably come out and escort you out of that bitch. But after I heard this guy shit himself in front of me, I looked back at the guy behind me because at this point, the old man who shit himself, went up to the front counter. Now there's a giant gap in the line where I could be standing. So I looked back at the guy who's just cussing and mumbling and fussing. And I said, hey, man, that guy in front of me just ripped ass and I'm not trying to stand in it. And he kind of chuckled, and that kind of made his day because he was ready for war. But I was like, dude, I'm not moving up there yet. I'm going to let that dissipate. And then, he was all right. Yeah, I know. That's crazy. Then I guess I have the face of a person who you just want to vent to because he started venting about everything. His license was suspended. He had to get it squared away, and then he had to do all this, that, and the other. And I said, hey, man, I'm sorry about all that. Good luck. I hope it all works out quickly for you. And I hope that helped his day a little bit. It's sometimes it's just the little things in life. And I hope that helped him out a little bit because this motherfucker was fuming. He was ready to fight anybody, everybody. He was one of them good old boys, and I think he would have given someone a run for their money. I'll tell you that much. And then I get called to a window. And I walk over to the window. And there's still a person sitting where I'm supposed to be. And I'm thinking to myself, why did the person at that counter preemptively hit the button to call the next person if the motherfucker sitting in front of them wasn't even gone yet? Little things like that just like annoy me. So I'm like, dude, just fucking wait. The person's still there. There's no reason for me to be there if the person's sitting in the seat. So wait, be patient. So now I walk up to the window. I see someone's there. And now I'm just kind of like standing in the background. Got my hands in my pockets like the that Kevin James meme off of King of Queens. Like, I'm just here. You know which one I'm talking about. Where he's got the flannel shirt, he's got his hands in his pockets, and he's got his head down, but he's looking up like, hey. That's what I had to do. I'm like, come on, man. Come on, man. Get it together. You can't say anything because the MVA cops that are in there are definitely itching to tackle a motherfucker or two. So, but hey, listen, I got everything completed at the MVA that I needed to. I got in, I got out safely, happily, and life goes on. And speaking of life going on, I have talked about my foot fetish with multiple people over the past 2 weeks. And it got me thinking. The people that I knew pre-COVID were all about allowing me, it was certain people, to nibble on their toes. And I don't know how to explain it. It is not all toes. It is some. They can be nice even if they're not painted. But you can't have some jacked up toes and think I'm going to be trying to nibble on them. But then you talk to someone about it and they think you're crazy. They're like, oh, you got a foot fetish? I mean, listen, it's not, I don't want to call it a fetish. I just like what I like. It's not like I see a picture of some feet and I got to go off into a corner and beat my meat. No, it's not like that. Certain people that I know, certain feet that I know, I like. I can control myself. It's not like when I see them, I turn into some kind of fucking wild animal. No, I can control myself. It's not like I go to the beach and I'm just like, oh. No, it doesn't fucking work like that. First of all, the person whose feet they're attached to need to be cool about it. They can't be making it weird either. Because if they're making it weird, then I'm going to be like, I don't want that. But and I don't need like my phone isn't a background, isn't like feet or anything like that. It just, I don't know how to explain it. But a good foot is a good foot. And it's not all of them. Okay, they got to be like the right length. I don't like little sausage toes. I like a good little, I like a normal foot. I don't know. But I do hope for my birthday, someone lets me get a little toe action. I hope. That's what I want. When I blow out my candles, give me some of them toes, baby. We'll see. We shall see. And I have this one friend who is really cool about me sucking her toes. No problem with it. Not one. Doesn't judge me. Doesn't get weird about it. You know, we can still have a conversation, and I could put a little toe in my mouth. Look, Chuck's a wild, nasty man. That's life. And I'm living it, baby. Just having fun. Because if I ain't sucking the toes, somebody else is. And now I'm pissed off. And while we're on the topic of feet, listen. Yes, you're probably thinking this. Yes, it can have a little stank to it. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. Now, the friend who allows me to nibble on her toes from time to time, her feet don't sweat. It is the wildest. She could work all day. Her feet don't sweat. Now, every once in a while, it will smell like a foot, but not in a bad way. I don't know how to explain it. If you are a foot lover, you will understand it. But if you're not, you just think I'm a nasty motherfucker, which I can be. But I don't think this is. All right, let's keep moving on before you cut this episode off. You know what I've noticed as I've started getting older? I enjoy beer. Liquor, I try and keep to a minimum. But I'm going to tell you right now, wine, over these past couple of weeks, wine has been my shit. I think all I need is a bottle of wine and Chuck will be just fine. And I've noticed that I've been rhyming a little bit this episode. No, I'm not on the wine right now. But I might get a little bit later on this evening after work. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll wait till Friday and get wild. But wine is where it is at. And I like red wine. And I don't want a sweet red wine like a Roscato. I don't want a dry red wine like a Cabernet. I want a red blend. I went to an event last week and they had a red blend that they had had for 4 years tucked away. And my goodness, that was some fucking good wine. I want the wine that's in the middle, not too dry, not too sweet, just right. And Chuck will drink that shit down. So yeah, I've just noticed that as I get older. And everybody's like, oh, you'll get a headache after wine. No, man. I feel fine after wine. Like I know there's going to be in a few weeks, not a few, next week, I'm going to go to a beer fest. And then later on, maybe I think there's going to be a wine fest. And I think I'm going to go to that. I haven't been to a wine fest. This year, it'll be the third consecutive year of going to a beer festival. But I think I might also include this year a wine festival. And I drink it. I can go to sleep afterwards, get a good night's sleep, and wake up like nothing ever happened. So wine is going to be my shit from now on. So we'll see. We'll see what kind of cool wines I can find this year. That might be my little hobby. Find the fine wine. You know what I'm saying? That fine wine. And usually every year after my birthday, before it starts getting really warm, I like to shave my beard. Like I'm bald. So I haven't been keeping like a shaved head, but I use my clippers and keep it low. So bald head, beard, and that's it. But once a year, every year I usually just shave it clean. Let my skin get some fresh air. But what I also have to remember is when I scratch my beard anytime during the year when I have it, I can scratch the shit out of my beard. My brush, which I've had for at least 22 years, it's like a hand brush. Like, it doesn't have a handle. You set it in your hand and you brush with it. I had it when I had hair. And before that, like in high school. And it has stood the test of time. And yeah, I keep it clean, I wash it and all that, so don't be like, fuck off. But this beard is like, the bristles are fucking thick. And not really thick. They're strong. Them bristles strong. So when I brush my beard, I can brush hard. And then when I shave, I go to scratch. And like I said, I can scratch hard also. And then I forget there's no beard. And I go to scratch and I'm like, ooh, that hurts. Ooh. Ooh. Am I bleeding? So I always dread when that happens, but I think I'm gonna go back and do a little shavy shave. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this year goes. The other day I was thinking about the time that I was at the ATM and this random guy walks up to me asking for change. And this was after hours at an ATM. And just thinking about it, this motherfucker could have had a gun. If it was a gun, I would be done. Now, if he had a knife, dude, I'm fucking running your ass over. Fuck you. You should have brought something with some reach. But I'm like counting my money, not counting my money. I'm putting it into the ATM. And I'm watching. I keep my head on a swivel, especially when I'm in an ATM. But I'm just thinking about it. This happened like 3-4 years ago. And he was like, hey, man, sorry to bother you. You got any change? And I'm like, what? First of all, it caught me off guard. And I was just like, no, man, no change. I got to get this in here. I'm sorry. And then I got the fuck out of there. But I think about that randomly in my head. Like, dude, that could have gone horribly wrong. Horribly wrong. But I'm glad I'm here to be able to talk about it and kind of laugh about it. And that nothing crazy came of it. It's wild. Yeah. Chuck, you got some wild shit. Another thing that I've noticed as I've gotten older, more and more I like to have my phone on silent. And I've seen memes and my friends and stuff have joked about this. Dude, growing up, when I first got a phone, I would buy ringtones and make sure my phone was loud as fuck. You were going to hear Get Low. You were going to hear whatever. In college, and I think this is really weird. No, it's, you know what? It's not weird. Chuck's weird. So it's normal. But I had King of the Road as my ringtone in college. Like, what? Why is this guy got King of the Road? Trailers for sale or rent. Rooms to let 50 cents. King of the road. Yeah. I don't know. That was my song. Or when I wasn't using that, I had the Halloween theme. Like the fucking, who's that? That's Michael Myers. Yeah. Like I would have that shit loud. That bitch would be loud. That's when the phones and shit didn't have fucking sound limiters and shit like that. No. That shit would be loud. Pierce your soul. But now I'd rather have that bitch on silent. Don't worry about who's calling me. Don't worry about what I'm doing. Crazy. How much, so much changes. And I'm happy that my birthday's coming up. So happy birthday to me. And it's something that I think about now that I am getting older is how time passes. How it's slow and fast at the same time. Like, you know what increment of time is a really big deal? 1 week. 1 fucking week is a really big deal because so much can happen in 1 week and it can go by very quickly or very slowly. And I have to worry about and think about 1 week at a time. When I do this podcast, I got to think about, oh, what am I going to do for the next week? And you don't think that, 6 weeks is a very short amount of time. And that's when they say, hey, you can lose some good weight in 6 to 8 weeks. And if you look at it that way, we're all just fucking wasting time when we could just be bettering ourselves. But we're like, oh man, 6 weeks is so long. I already said earlier this year, it's already been a year since I got my new vehicle. And I was talking to someone about that last week. I said, hey man, you remember when I got my vehicle? He's like, yeah. I said, it's already been a year. He said, oh shit, it's already been a year. I said, yeah, it's already been a year. So 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that ain't shit. And that just means that we could all be doing better. Every fucking single one of us could be doing so much better. So I need to be doing so much better. And that's all to it. Because life ain't going to fucking slow down for me, for you, for anybody. Shit keeps moving on. Shit keeps grooving on. And we got to move and groove with it. So, happy birthday to me. And once I get done talking about the things that I want to talk about, I think it was like 3 or 4 different articles talking about things about getting older. And I'm saving that for the end of the episode. So I'll tell you before I start getting into it. But, it's just talking about how things have changed. Like, I am a 90s child. I am a millennial. And I have seen how life has truly, truly changed. And I'm going to get into that a little shortly. But look, man, this year, big things are going to happen. I'm putting that out into the universe. Big things are happening in 2026. They already are. I am putting things in motion. I have talked to the universe and said, universe, help me. Just like that clip I put out, universal positivity. You got to say good things to make good things happen. And that's what I'm doing. And I'm doing it myself. I'm making shit happen. And I think, one thing I want to do is kind of update some of the podcast equipment. I've thought about this, and it can be something over time. And that's going to be the one birthday thing that I'm going to give to myself. I want to get a couple headphones so I can podcast with other people, and we headphone it up and we just have a good time. I also, now that I've had my equipment for a few years, or for 5 years, all my equipment I've had for 5 years, I want to update my microphone stand, because when I move it, it's like it's the cheapy microphone stand. So listen, when I move it, listen to this. It fucking wrangles and jingles, and I don't like it. They have silent microphone stands so I can move it and it doesn't sound like I'm in a scary movie. But that's just one of the few things that I want to get myself for my birthday. A microphone stand and maybe a couple more headphones. I've got 2 microphones, so I'm not worried about that. But that's about it. Maybe get one of those like sound devices that I could add in, make my own sounds. Not beats, but like just different sounds, like they do on the radio. Something yelling, something screaming, something like, oh yeah. And I just hit a button. Oh yeah. How do you feel about that? Oh yeah. So I'm thinking that would be cool. I've seen dumb shit like that on TikTok, on the old TikToks. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, look, I know this has already been a long episode, and I think I'm going to get into those articles that I was talking about a little earlier. So now what you're going to have to do is switch over to part 2 of this episode.